Food? Tapas. I always have a tapa because I love it. I love tapa. I love the concept.
Hola, Bárbara.
Hello.
We have two guests today. You have to introduce yourself, but also who is this little fun critter you have with you?
This is Antonio, and Antonio is pretty famous in our family of AIFS because he always participates in our meetings. He's always here. Like,
he's like the unofficial mascot for Madrid, basically.
Yes, exactly. And all the students know, at least by pictures.
Well, Bárbara, we're going to be talking about Madrid, but you're also the resident director for Argentina. You're native to Argentina. Tell us what brought you to Madrid and a little bit about your role as an RD.
I was living in between Spain and Argentina because my family is living in Spain since last 20 years, I think. Part of my family, not my entire family. So I've been in Spain thousands of times, but I was living in Buenos Aires. And then I decided to do a master in linguistics and my PhD after my initial research. And AIFS, we were developing this new program in Madrid. So we decided together that I was going to develop the first years, well, at least the first semesters in Madrid, and then what happened is that I stayed here and I oversee Buenos Aires with the local coordinator of Buenos Aires. So that's what brought me to Madrid, my development as a professional and with the AIFS and my research in my PhD. Madrid is pretty easy to navigate, and that's a very great thing from the city. For the students that are coming maybe for the first time that they are abroad, or maybe the first time that they are living and studying abroad, finding a city that is super friendly with not only with the relationships, right, or interaction with people, also the city itself is pretty easy to navigate. It has a great public transport net, which is pretty affordable to be in Europe. It's pretty easy to understand, and you can go almost everywhere in a subway, and it's pretty comfortable subway, in a bus or trains. And also it's a huge city with a great architecture. If you love art, you will love just walking the streets in Madrid and see all those beautiful buildings from a lot of years ago, centuries. And also little signs in the street, not graffiti like modern graffiti, signs that are from also other times. Spain has a monarchy and Madrid is the main capital, and it has a lot of royal sites in the city and in the surroundings. You can see masterpieces of art in those places and great architecture. If you're interested, for example, in religions, also it's a great city because you can see a lot of different religions in the city coexisting, and in the surroundings you see a lot of different towns that you will see like different cultures from different religions coexisting. And it's pretty interesting for students that are like focused on those kinds of interests, but also it's pretty easy for all the students that come here. It's very welcome with students because it has a lot of institutions, great institutions, and students from all over the country, they come here to study. Our students, when they come to Madrid, they are in contact with Spaniards from other parts of Spain, not only from Madrid. And also they have contact with a lot of other students from all over the world, not only Europe, you know, it's from China, and it's pretty interesting for them because it's a mix of
it's a melting pot.
Yeah, helps a lot for our students to open their minds. It's a very open-minded city. I have to say it's pioneer in what matters regarding the diversity and inclusion, which is very important for all of us. Madrid is a pioneer on those topics because in the 80s it has been pretty famous. I don't know if you heard about the movida madrileña.
No, but tell us.
It's when Spain, the dictatorship that they have during the 20th century ended, the entire country started a new process with democracy and also to be more open and to express all what they feel, and there are a few neighborhoods that you can still see all those like stamps what happens in that moment when Spain was changing, and Madrid was the main capital of that change. So diversity for that moment was kind of super new concept, but Madrid was pioneer on those things, and and it's considered one of the main capitals in Europe for LGTB, for example. Something else, well, a lot of things. It's a green city because it has a lot of large parks all around the city. If the students want to spend time in nature, they can just walk maybe 10 minutes or 15 minutes because they are located in a pretty nice area. And they can go to Parque del Oeste or Casa de Campo, which is a huge area. I don't know, it's not touristic. You can just spend time there and just disconnect with the city. And also, if it is located in an area of, it's in the heart of the country, so pretty well connected with the rest of the country, and you can go everywhere in Spain from Madrid. In a bus, in a train, in a airplane. You know that in Europe there are low-cost plane flights. Madrid is one of the gates of Europe, so also you can connect with the entire country and the entire continent pretty easily. And the surroundings in the city are mountains. So if you want to go hiking or in winter time skiing, you just take a train and in 40 minutes you are there to enjoy the heart of the nature. And also they can find a lot of things for free or pretty with a lot of discounts because they are students. We help our students, we guide them to find these special offers and to know that, for example, going to a museum that may cost X euros, but they can do it some days for free, or to exhibitions or also concerts.
Can you tell us about the university that we partner with? Tell us a little bit about what the academic programs are like. What is the campus culture like? What are some classes that maybe students gravitate towards?
Okay, well, the university is a pretty innovative and modern university. It has a lot of awards regarding that. All the classroom has a lot of technology, and also the teachers are all the time in getting trained with the new technologies and new resources, and the facilities are very welcoming. They have a huge patio in the middle of the main building where all the students, all the classrooms are all around, where is a cafeteria also.
A gathering place.
Has an open air area, and Madrid has a great weather, so the students really enjoy those facilities. And it has a great library, when you see in the movies and you see those libraries in wood with a lot of books and huge doors.
I'm picturing like the Harry Potter library.
Exactly.
That's kind of what I'm picturing, yeah.
In the library you have a space to work in groups, and a space that is only for silence. And also the university has a lot of clubs, for example, the Cars Club, if you like cars, or the theater club, or music club, or and a lot of them.
And the AIFS, all of those students can participate in those organizations.
Exactly. It's another way to be in contact with the Spaniards, and it's something else that they can get from this experience in Madrid. The university has 3 different campuses. We are located in the main one, which is in the center, in the central district of Madrid. The academics, it's divided in those courses that the students can do with the Spaniards, which are the regular courses at the university, and that we call integrated program, and the program that is for international students from all over the world that they want to come and learn more regarding Spanish or European specific topics and Spanish language. And in that program, in that center, we have 2 programs. One that is taught in Spanish and is called Hispanic Studies, and it's divided by levels. So depending on your level of Spanish, you will be doing the A1 or A2 or B1 or B2, C1, C2 level.
They'll take a placement exam upon arrival so we can gauge where the levels are.
Exactly. Once you do the test, you have the same courses with different levels. So if you want to do, for example, conversation, not only grammar, because you want to develop your skills, you will have that options in all the levels of Spanish. And then, of course, when a level is a higher level, you have more opportunities and more courses like literature or Prado Museum or different kind of business, health, Spanish for health purpose, business purpose. But then it's also another program that is the Spanish Plus. The student can also mix those courses in Spanish with degree courses in English. Business, marketing, tourism, psychology, engineering too. And the students may choose to do everything in English or a few in English and a few in Spanish. they want.
Excellent. One of the things that's worth noting, I think students always give me the question of like, well, if I'm taking, you know, business courses, am I able to take electives that are outside of that concentration? And like, yes, you can kind of mix and match. It doesn't have to be one concentration across the board. So from what I'm understanding from you, Barbara, is you can be bare bones Spanish, you can know no Spanish and do a program in Madrid, or you can be expert level, advanced, what have you, in the 400 levels and still participate in the program.
In the integrated program, which is with the regular courses of the university with the Spaniards, there are also courses in English. So students, even if they need an advanced level of Spanish to participate in that program, because they will be joining the courses in Spanish, not for international students, for Spaniards, they might feel comfortable to do 3 courses in Spanish and 2 courses in English. I forgot to say that we offer also internships with the university, which is a huge program. It's a great program where the student can have an experience working in a Spanish company and also have it doing 3 courses in any of the international programs that we offer.
It's real life work experience, and not only is it real life work experience, but if you are native to the US, it's international employer experience, which is really valuable on a resume.
And also credits.
Yes, credits, international employer experience, all things that you can add to your resume, and you can diversify your resume that way and have that kind of employer experience. That puts you apart from other employers in the future. Yeah. So what is it that makes Madrid special? What do you think draws students into that program?
Madrid has a very, very interesting spirit in the streets. And I love that. And during summer, we offer also Hispanic studies and Spanish class, this in Spanish and in English, in 2 sessions. Each session lasts 4 weeks, and the student has to do 2 courses, or Spanish class or Spanish studies, or in Spanish or in English. But also we offer an internship possibility in those 2 months, and the student may have to choose to do 1 course in Spanish class or Spanish studies, and the rest of the day they will be working in a Spanish company.
Are there volunteer programs in Madrid? Can you tell us a little bit about what those opportunities look like?
Yes, yeah, I'm smiling because I just finished talking the last week with a great project that are helping young mothers in Spain, and they would like to be part of the volunteer we give to our students. Most of the volunteers that I had in Madrid, the students that were interested in doing volunteer work, they were interested in participating in an educational project, like teaching English or assisting little children to learn English, or helping the teachers in some activities like games.
Right.
There's also plenty other opportunities, and if we don't have it at the moment, for example, if a student comes and asks me, for example, I would like to volunteer in elderlies, with elderlies, right? Because now it's a huge moment and it's really important to have that. So maybe I do not have now the contact, but I can contact immediately, because we are in contact with a lot of organizations, and we can also prepare that for our students.
Have you ever had a case scenario where a student maybe comes back?
There are a lot of the students that try that. When they leave Madrid, they told me that they wanted to come back, and that they were finding what they have to do before leaving to get in contact with some specific places. So we help them to navigate that part, and then if they want to do it once they are home. And also, you know that we have the alumni program that we assist a lot of our students. If they need a recommendation letter or to be in contact with us straight, they can do it.
Yeah. And excellent.
I heard a lot of students from Madrid wanting to come back and to working here.
Study abroad, it's not just that finite period of time that you're physically in the location during your academic studies. It's that professional development thereafter. It's our alumni network. It's all those other channels that are offered and available to you to kind of pursue this. Maybe it won't be your life path, but your postgraduate path.
Studying abroad in general, all right? Open your mind in terms of believing that it is possible, and you can do it. Maybe you need help a little bit at the beginning, and maybe at the end you need help still, but it's a huge process that when the students, they discover that it is not so far away. It's not something that was for some people, not for me, it's for everyone. And we want that. During the orientations, most of the orientations in the first week, I recall something when I'm talking with my students, and I share with them when my first time abroad, when I was 16 years old, and I went to Richmond, Virginia, and for an exchange with my school, high school. And I remember that when I was there, I was just looking at in the window of a train traveling up to New York at the end of the program, and I started crying and say, I made it. This is not so far away. And I share that with the students when we start talking about the intercultural process they are going to start when they arrive to this new environment. We revisit feelings, expectations, goals, and fears that they have at the beginning, at the end of the program, and we reflect on how they went through all this process. And that is one of the most beautiful things of our job as resident directors, to be part of that
transition, the change. Yeah, development, that's the perfect word. Students that we talk to all the time are always like, well, it's finances, or it's I have anxiety about this, or there's always some kind of reservation. Everybody has at least one. I think what's really great about AIFS, if I can be so biased to say, is that we have all of these different channels and all of these resources that you can tap into. So little by little, you can start to combat whatever those fears are, and we can kind of work that out pre-departure. That way, when you get there and you arrive, you can focus on the development part of it. It's not so much the reservation part anymore. We've kind of already moved past that. And
each person has his own things to develop, their own interests and also resources. So all paths are different. I always say that the groups are different, each semester or the summer groups, but also each student has its own particularities. And I think something that also is very great from our team, and I love to be part of this family that we build in all the directors around the world and with the rest of the team of AIFS, is that we care about being aware of this. We want to be aware.
So many of you have done the expat thing yourself, so you have that empathy of like, this might be difficult for some people. Some people might catch on to it a little bit faster. What does the housing look like for Madrid? Is it a homestay? Is it a student residence, an apartment style? What does that look like for students?
For all the programs, we have shared apartment option. It's a student apartment and a homestay. And the students in homestay will be able to live with a Spanish family. They have included one meal and breakfast every day. And it's a great opportunity for those students that wants to be immersed the life in Madrid, the Spanish way of life. Maybe the family is a couple or a mother with a child or a teenager child, but then there's a huge family behind them. And maybe on Sundays they meet and they have lunch all together, and the students participate in those celebrations, family celebrations. It's the Spanish way of living. They can experience that. And the shared apartment is for students that wants to have a more independent experience and want to live with other students that might be not only from the United States, might be from other parts of the world, and Spanish students too. Our students, they have the possibility to say if they have a specific requirements or wishes regarding what they want from the apartment. For example, we had a student that she wanted to be in a student apartment, but with the people that speak Spanish, only Spanish, because she really wanted to speak Spanish, but she wanted to go to a family because she wanted to be more independent. If not, we prefer our students to be all together, AIFS students all together. We keep in mind if they have a specific solicitude or requirement.
You guys, as the RDs, kind of figure that out. So it's like a process.
We have like a main goal, that is we want our students to be safe and healthy in a good environment. First, we prepare that, and we obviously prioritize to have the best families and the best apartments. And we want all the students to be near each other and together in the same apartment. But if we have some specific requirements, well, for the students, we try to do the best, and generally we can do it. And of course, we keep in mind allergies, or if they want to be in a family with no pets, or those kind of things, of course.
Can you tell us about some cultural opportunities that you might do with students, museums, ballets, sporting events, and then also, my personal favorite, the excursions. What are some of those AIFS excursions that you guys go on together?
First, the activities. The students that comes in the semester, and also in the summer, we we try to do similar activities, but during summer they will have to do it like in a very short term, 2 or 3 activities per week. And during the semester is once per week. For example, we go, of course, to the Prado Museum, this main museum of Europe, and students can find a lot of masterpieces of art, and it's a great museum, and they can do it in a guided tour with a professor of the university, which is great, and also is divided by levels. So if you have a great level of Spanish, you will be doing that with that teacher, and if you are an A2, you go with another, and they mix a little bit, and they use proper vocabulary for your level. So that is great. Also, we go to the Reina Sofia Museum, which is a contemporary art museum. It's my preferred. I love it. I think it's a wonderful museum. I love it. And we go to a tapas night. You know that in Spain is very famous to have tapas with friends. We do a general city tour, of course, for them to learn about the city. But then I prefer, depending on the groups, I have to say, because some groups are more interested in some things than others. I prepare sightseeing of specific areas, and we can see how for example, the neighborhood in 𝗦𝗢𝗖𝗓 has to offer a lot of exhibitions in galleries, exhibitions and wine tasting, or concerts, or a lot of theaters. That the under circuits in Madrid is huge. So I want them to learn about that, because maybe in the touristic places or maybe in the internet they will not find that. I want to introduce them to other things that they might find and they find interesting. And if, for example, in some cases I do a cooking class with all of them and we do a competition, but in other semesters we didn't do that, but we went to see a play, a Spanish play, with other group. We went to see a Spanish concert because they wanted to hear Spanish music. But rock, not the flamenco. We go to a flamenco show, but maybe the group is interested in something else, and so I prepare those little things for the group especially. But of course, we have the main activities to see the most important cultural and royal sites of Madrid. We go to Royal Palace and to the cathedral where the kings married, and also we go hiking. And when the weather is good, we go to the mountains and we do like a picnic in the countryside, and a lot of activities with Afro community, LGBTQ rights, women rights, because the city has a vibrant life regarding those topics. Regarding the excursions, we have included during the semester Segovia, it's a beautiful town in the mountains. And it's in another community. We have to go through the other community, which is called Castilla and León. And it has a beautiful Alcázar, which is a kind of palace that has a very specific architecture. And Disney castle that is at the beginning of the movies. Disney movies, that castle. I think it was inspired on this castle in Segovia. And I say, it's true, because it's exactly the same. And also we visit the Roman aqueduct, which is one of the most well-preserved Roman aqueducts in the world. It is huge. In all the excursions, we have a professional guide for 3 hours, and then a little, maybe 2 or 3 hours of free time after lunch for explore the city. Then we go also to Toledo, which is the three cultures city, where you can find Muslims and Jews and Christians coexisting, and all the culture around the city is regarding these three cultures. And we visit the cathedral, which is one of the most famous cathedrals in Europe. It's beautiful, it's huge. It has a lot of masterpieces also from Spanish painters. We visit the synagogue and a very famous painting from El Greco, which is a Spanish painter. It has a huge impact in art, the worldwide art.
Do you find that the students interpret the art similarly when you do that activity, or quite different based off
quite different? It is a great experience because they understand that they are in front of a masterpiece. Then we go to the Escorial, which is a royal site. It's a royal site because it is a monastery, a school, a library, a royal palace, and also is the Pantheon.
All on the same campus.
Same building. And we visit the Pantheon where all the kings and queens are buried. And it's very interesting because you learn about king's history and the royal history of Spain. This activity, the Monasterio del Escorial, at the first beginning I thought maybe it's too much, right? It's too much information, too much history, but they love it. And we go to Granada for 3 days. Beautiful city, in one of the beautiful cities of Madrid. And it has the Alhambra, which is palace. It's the palace for like excellence of Spain, and I think it's one of the most visited places in the world. The city itself is beautiful, and we spent 3 days. The first day I explained them the entire city, and we do the main spots together, and then they have free time once we know that they can manage themselves alone in the city. Wonderful trip.
We happen to have a program in Granada. So yeah.
And sometimes we meet with the students there.
We do? Okay.
We have 2 optional excursions. One is to Salamanca, a weekend in Salamanca, which also we have another program there.
Yeah.
It's like the university city of Spain, and it has beautiful buildings, also great story and great food. And it's nice because the students learn to love that city, but maybe it's not the first city that you will find in a list of what to do in Spain. But at the end, it's a very, very, very important city. And also we do the Marrakesh, Morocco trip. It's beautiful and wonderful, and we want our students to have that opportunity.
I've heard that's one of the favored excursions. And I think Madrid is not the only program where we do that excursion. There are other regions in Spain where we have programs where they also do the Morocco. Are you guys doing that excursion together, all the different regions? So yeah, so that's another way where the students will get to intermix with other AIFS participants. Do you make friends with the locals or just people in AIFS?
It will depend on you probably, but you have the opportunity to do both. Since we do a lot of activities together, and I really worry about building good bonds and make a group that they feel comfortable with in order to help each other and have like a home out of home. So the groups usually they are pretty, tight, but you have a lot of opportunity to meet with Spanish people if you want. I can say that you can ask former students that they still have friends in Spain.
The best way to meet new people is just to get involved in whatever that university offers. It's not just the AIFS bubble. So the whole point of going to study abroad is to like learn the culture. Who better to learn the culture from than like someone your own age that you might already have things in common with that are going to show you their home. That's the best way to see a country is.
And also we want our students to move to that area, you know, but first we need to focus and make them feel comfortable and increase the comfort zone.
One of the things I like to ask students when we're doing the alumni ambassador interviews is, how long did it take you to make this place feel like your home? And the average answer, it's a little different for every student, but on average, 2.5 to 3 weeks is what they say.
It is different from for each student, right, and each person, but that's why we run this intercultural workshop and we worry about all the process during the program. But the most important is that the students gain awareness about how they feel and what resources they need in each step. The problem is not to go through different steps and feel sometimes you're struggling, sometimes you feel super happy, or you're in a honeymoon, or you are home. The thing is that you have to be aware that that is part of the process, and that you have the resources to do it, to go through that smoothly and be successful, and that's the most important.
Yeah, it's not linear. It's not A, B, C, D, E, F, G. For some students, it's A, E, Z, T. Like
exactly,
it's mixed alphabet.
Exactly.
Right. We're gonna do the speed round. You know how it works. I give you a word, you give me something in relation to your experience in Madrid. You know the first one, it's food.
Food? Tapas. I always have a tapa because I love it. I love tapas. I love the concept. I should say tortilla de patatas, which is another main dish of Spain, or patatas bravas. But all those things are part of the tapas at the end, so I have to say tapas.
Transportation.
Great. Easy. Yeah. Great, because it's easy, comfortable, inexpensive for students.
Yeah.
So great.
I love it. Locals.
Funny.
Fun and funny, right? Language.
Oh my God. I have a lot of words for that. Melodic.
That's really pretty.
I select that word because Spanish has a lot of different melodies. The students, when they come to Madrid and they are in contact with other students from other parts of Spain, they can notice. And also when they hear me.
Yeah.
And when they hear people from Granada, or people from Salamanca, or people from Galicia or some other places, they can understand that the sound changes changes a little bit, and it's a different melody all the time. It's the same language, but with a lot of different melodies. So that's why I decided.
Except when you go to Barcelona, because they're Catalan, and that's a different kind of Spanish too. Landmarks, historical, natural. Do you have a favorite one that sticks out to you?
I'm not sure if this is a landmark. I don't know. I believe that Madrid is at the same level as the main cities in Europe, but it is not so famous. You know, like everybody considers that it's Paris, London, Barcelona. I love all those cities, but I think it's like there's something that is not known from Madrid, that when you live in Madrid, and the students can, I am not lying, I think I talk in behalf of all the students that were here. When you are here, then you understand that, and you say, oh my God, this gem, where was this gem?
A hidden gem. Architecture.
Madrid is super fancy. You see super fancy buildings with 19th century architecture, and maybe 18th century. There are a few buildings that are considered the oldest buildings in Europe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, I don't know exactly, but they say that the first bar in the world is located in the center of Madrid.
In Madrid.
And walk through the little streets in Madrid, and seeing all those windows and balconies, typical Spanish balconies. It's beautiful. It's a city to take pictures all the time. You're
And then, is there something that the students have taught you?
They showed me how Madrid is so beautiful. I live a lot of sensations through the learning process that they had with the city. And when they travel to other cities and they come back and share with me these feelings, and then I learned that most of them told me the same thing, I say, okay, and I started looking at the city in a different way. I try to be very close with my students. And of course, there are some students that they prefer to be more independent, but I try to be available for them all the time. And I think it's also part of the ideology that we have in AIFS, to be near students and just leave them manage the relationship with the distance that they want, and that make them feel comfortable, and that brings them to share with me things that make my life grow, you know. So for example, learning things that yeah.
Guys, if you have any questions for Barbara about Madrid or Argentina, feel free to reach out to us. We'll get you in touch with her. Her information is also on our website under both of those respective programs. Thank you so much, Barbara, and hopefully we'll get to see you very soon. All right.
Thank you.
Adios.
Bye, everyone.